Welcome to the Queen Amani Show! All the way from the Queen City, here she is, Queen Amani!
Welcome to the Queen Amani Show, and welcome back to the castle. I am so excited today because I have two fabulous guests at the castle today that do mission work all around the world, spreading hope and the love of Jesus Christ all around the world. So I'm so excited to have Kim and Ashley Titus at the castle today. Welcome.
Thank you. It's so beautiful. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Isn't it awesome?
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, well, welcome to the show. I feel so blessed to have you on the show with all that you do, spreading hope and love all around the world, making a difference in the lives of people. What calls you to do mission work?
Our family's always been centered around serving, not just international, but the family being the central part of the mission, and then the community, the state, the country, and then abroad.
Yes. So why did you all choose Ethiopia to do mission work in Ethiopia?
Well, it's really a calling that you feel, such as this show, as just such a mission field for you right now?
Yes, this is actually, I feel, my mission. I was called by God to do this. I've always wanted a TV show ever since I was a little girl. But just recently, over the last year or two, God really was just working in my life and, called me to use my gifts and talents for Him. And what better way than to use them through having a TV show, having great people as yourself come on to talk about the wonderful things that you're doing to make a difference in other people's lives and in our world.
And your show's making a huge difference. And for us, Ethiopia, we have served other places, and I wouldn't say there's one better than another, but this past year, my sister-in-law had started an adoption process of an orphan in Addis Ababa. So
awesome.
We had researched mission groups that were going to serve that orphanage.
Yes.
And we took a 10-day trip there with their family, as well as Ashley and I. So there were 6 of us, plus another group of 30 people we hadn't met until that mission trip.
Oh, that is awesome. How many orphans are in Ethiopia?
Well, there are about 5 million orphans.
5 million.
It's one of the largest orphan population in the world.
That is a large number. Why do you feel that there are so many orphans in Ethiopia?
There's a few reasons. One, it's definitely a third world country, so the sanitation, the cleanliness of the community, and they also have a huge AIDS, HIV population. So sometimes the parents aren't able to take care of the children, and they have to take to the streets to find food, etc.
So do the orphans, do some of them live in the streets, or do they have homes, or?
Well, some orphans, yes, they do live in the streets.
Oh.
Like my new nephew, Bapti.
Yes.
He actually lived under the bridge for some time. He said he just unrolled some plastic, and that's where he slept.
Oh.
We were able to visit that bridge that he had lived in for a year and a half. And as we were there, it was just such a full circle moment for him, because 2 boys were actually living under that same bridge at that time. And
oh, wow.
we were just so moved that we called the organization we were working for, and they had room to bring those 2 boys back to the orphanage right then and there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so here we had the translator and Batsy actually convincing the boys, we're okay, we're safe,
Exactly.
we are going to bring you to a safe place.
And then once he actually convinced them, it just so happened that we had pizza in the back.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we just brought clothes and shoes to that place in that orphanage.
You changed their lives right then and there. That is amazing. That is awesome. So what organization did you go through to send you to Ethiopia for the mission work?
Well, we went with this organization called Ordinary Hero. It's a non-profit
out of Tennessee, and it's a child advocacy group. They do a lot of work in Tennessee, as well as Ethiopia and other countries, but that's mainly the work in Ethiopia and Tennessee. that they do, and just wonderful, wonderful organization.
Oh, that's awesome. And so how do you communicate with the children when they don't speak English?
Well, we do have translators there, but also we use like hand gestures and kind of like their own way of sign language. Like my favorite is when they want their phone, they would point to your phone, and they love to take selfies. So they would just say stuff like photo and.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, and the older kids, they do learn English in school, so
That's good.
we were a really good practice ground for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have been wondering about this whole time is, what did you eat when you were there for 10 days?
Well, I did bring my own SpaghettiOs.
Oh, that's good.
But they also have good pizza there.
Oh, cool.
Like
So-
fire roasted pizza right on the fire.
oh, wow. So they have like pizza restaurants, or
Yeah, they have a lot of pizza restaurants. And most
Okay.
every restaurant, they have like Fanta products.
Okay. All right.
Now the Ethiopians mainly eat this bread called injera. It's a spongy bread made out of whey,
Okay.
and it's basically a filler, and then they can put some hummus or some type of meat if they were lucky enough to have meat in the
Wow.
injera.
And when you say lucky enough, so do they not get to eat meat that often, or?
No, they don't get to eat meat that often, but we did bring them some goats.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
so it's a big celebration if they are able to eat sheep, goat, or oxen, and because they do not get a lot of protein in their normal diet because it's so expensive.
Wow, and so they eat goat. So that's I've never had goat or eaten goat. I've never seen that process. Did you at all get to see how they?
Well, my cousin did actually get to see the goat killed. I saw them clean up the organs and stuff of the goat
Ooh.
for them to eat.
Wow, so they
I, on
clean
the
it
other
right
hand, did
there
not-
and then eat it.
Yes,
Did you taste it?
I didn't
all?
know.
Oh, okay.
No, we were sort of warned the Americans not to be that adventurous.
Also, because we can't drink their water,
Okay.
we have to get our own bottled water, and of course they wash the goat off in water.
Oh, I see.
So
Wow.
we were very careful, I would say. Unfortunately, our cousin, he had a water bottle, and so he was drinking water. He did not realize that our Ethiopian nephew Bati had filled it up with tap water. He got very sick the entire next
wow.
day.
for about 2 days.
2 days?
Yeah.
2 days. So it's very critical that you follow the bottled water and food restrictions given by our
Yes.
doctor.
Some people do boil their water there, and
Okay.
you can have that.
Like
Okay.
the coffee was safe because it was boiled.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. So, how was it meeting your nephew Betty for the first time?
We really have no words.
Yeah.
It was just so surreal. We had seen pictures of him, so we of course knew who we were going to see, and we had come right out of customs, and there he was. He was like right there. And
He
we
was
just-
real.
Yeah, we had been praying for him, and I just, we were just hugging him, and there really was no words
Wow.
for that time, and he stayed with us the entire time.
Yes.
Right by our side.
Well, I am getting goosebumps just hearing about when you first met him. But so hang tight, sit tight. We got to go to a break. But when we come back, we have more fabulous talk about Ethiopia and your travels there. Hi, and welcome to the Queen Amani Show. If you are an individual or an organization and you would like to come on the Queen Amani Show, contact us on Facebook at the Queen Amani Show, or you can email us at thequeenamanishow@gmail.com. Again, the email is queenamanishow@gmail.com, and find us at Facebook, Queen Amani Show. Thank you, and we can't wait to have you here at the castle. Welcome back to the Queen Amani Show, and thank you for joining us at the castle. I have two fabulous guests here on the show that has done mission work all around the world, spreading hope and love of Jesus Christ to others, and I feel so blessed to have them on the show. So one thing we were talking about is what it takes to prepare to go on a mission trip. So what all did you have to do to get ready?
Of course, we had to get this visa and a passport, but the most hardest for me was I had to get some shots.
Shots. Ooh, how many shots?
It takes 5 shots there, but I had, already had a few.
Yes. So now is that standard for everyone that goes on mission trips too?
Every mission trip will have its own set of
Yeah.
requirements. Some are not as as much as
yeah.
Ethiopia. I think this was the worst. We had to get yellow fever and then take malaria medication. So
wow.
that's definitely more than, let's say, if you went to Jamaica. We've gone there,
Yes.
as well as Haiti would be another popular one for.
So there's different there's different ways to prepare for each mission trip that you
Yeah.
go on. So do they give you like a list of requirements before you go on the
They
mission
do
trip?
actually, and you have to make sure by your doctor you have all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes there's clearance, like you have to lift 20 pounds, you have
Oh,
to
wow.
so you really need to be asking the mission leader or the group exactly what are the requirements for that trip.
Okay. So when you were in Ethiopia, do you have like any specific stories that events or things that happened when you were there?
Well, I have one that sticks out to my mind about Bhakti. So we were helping this orphanage up in the mountains. And it just so happened that his home, people all of a sudden just came up and knew his name, and Bhakti knew them. And we got to see his home that he lived with his aunt
Oh, wow.
before he set out on the street.
Yeah, we were all just so amazed, like how do all these kids know his name?
Oh, wow.
And we were just put there at the right time, at the right place, and we got to experience this part of the journey for him.
Yes.
And then we were able to see the bridge where he lived under. We really got to see his life.
Yes.
His full life circle.
So he lived under a bridge at one time.
Yeah,
in
for 1.5
Ethiopia.
years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then just like we found those two other boys,
Yes.
a group came and they said, we have a home where you can, orphanage home
Yes.
that we can take you to. And not all the boys want to go. There's rules
Yes. Okay.
and there's responsibility that they have to have.
in the home.
And so sometimes they run away.
Okay.
But
Um,
other boys like love it. They're like, I love
Yeah.
this life.
Yes.
This is what God wants.
Yes.
They can
Oh,
see
wow.
the advantages and they can get into school. Otherwise, if they're on the street, they are usually not going to school.
Yes. Oh, wow. Do you have any other specific stories when you were in Ethiopia, like with this blankets or?
Oh, no, like you're saying with the blankets. So we were packing these blankets in this backpack, like a normal day, whatever. And my mom was like, I got to take these blankets out.
Well, they were very heavy, and we didn't have all this much room because we had other things to bring that day.
Because you have to carry around your
Everything,
things
yes,
when you.
everything.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
And we were going to this home visits, and I just had this feeling inside me, like, don't take the blankets out.
Yes.
I just couldn't explain it.
And I was
Yes.
like, all right, if you can get the blankets to fit in the bag,
Yes.
then we will take them.
Wow.
And of course I got them to fit.
So that day, what we were doing was doing home visits, and we were trying to find out the needs of who we were all assigned a different house.
Yes.
So the first house we were assigned, the lady says, I could really use 2 blankets.
Just
Wow.
leave your money. All I need is
Awesome.
blankets.
And so while
Yes.
the minister was praying for her and her
Yes.
need, Ashley and I
Yes.
And so we had asked our mission leader, like our procedure was, and she said, of course. And so
Just give it to her.
so the lady's saying,
Yes.
thank you for visiting. And we say, we have one more thing for you. And we unzip
Had
our
the-
bag, and she
and-
sees these Afghans.
She has this widest eyes.
And although she didn't speak English, we knew what she was thinking.
Yes. It's like God had sent you that sign. He had, to take those blankets. And like you said, it was unexplained, but you knew you had to take them, and you followed. You
And
followed. And
we
you
were
took them.
assigned that specific house of all
That's
the
awesome.
houses. So yeah, you could see God working
Yes.
as you're there, as His hands and His feet,
Mm.
just like you're the vessel for the show.
Yes.
We were His hands and feet there, and
That's
we had
awesome.
just brought her what she had been praying about. She
Yes.
said for 3 weeks.
Her
Wow.
blankets.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that was awesome that you were obedient, and you followed what you felt. And do you have any other stories, like with a water bottle and a bin?
Oh, Ben always gets in trouble, but
Ben.
we did enjoy going with our family because we got to experience this with them and their adoption journey,
Yes.
as well as serving at the same time.
And I got more bond with Ben and JD, and I
That's our
actually
cousin.
got to know Batti, which is our nephew in Ethiopia.
Now, who is Ben? Is he?
He's our cousin.
Okay.
He's
my
okay.
cousin.
All right. Okay. Awesome. When is your next mission?
Oh, soon, especially as this airs. We are leaving July 17th.
Well, her and my brother
Yes,
are.
Wow.
taking my son Ethan, and we are actually doing a follow-up mission from the one Ashley and I went on. We're going to be going to the same orphanages. As you get more partnered with them,
Yes.
you want to see how, your donations and
how
your
the
time
kids are going,
Yes.
and they're
how they
growing.
improve.
And so we are very excited to reconnect with the mission partners there.
So he's going to Ethiopia. Your son
Yes.
is going to
The
Ethiopia.
same age I was.
So he's 11
He'll
years
be
old.
11, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
So he's very excited to see our sponsored children there. Yes.
Oh, that is
Because
awesome.
he's been messaging them on Facebook.
Yes.
Because all of them have the Facebook.
Yes. Hi, and welcome to the Queen Amani Show. If you are an individual or an organization and you would like to come on the Queen Amani Show, contact us on Facebook at the Queen Amani Show, or you can email us at thequeenamanishow@gmail.com. Again, the email is queenamanishow@gmail.com, and find us at Facebook, Queen Amani Show. Thank you, and we can't wait to have you here at the castle. So, Kim and Ashley, what drives you, what makes you so passionate about doing the mission work that you all do all around the world?
Well, I really want to get closer to God and just do work in God's name.
Wow, amen.
I mean, if you follow the
Yes.
story of Jesus, that's what he did while he was here.
Oh, yes.
That was his mission. He showed the love of God toward
Yes.
everything he did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Giving and, spreading hope. I mean, because when you go to places like Ethiopia and you mention that there are over 5 million orphans, I mean, I could imagine that they just need the hope and they need to feel love. And that's what you share when you go over, like the story with the blanket.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
really felt like the lady, she'd been praying for 3 weeks, and here these Americans from across the ocean.
Yes.
They
Don't
come
even know her.
and they have this
Wow.
backpack, and who knew what was in it except God? And we gave her them.
Yes.
And, even back to that, it was amazing, Ashley, just how, God had, almost spoke to you, and you could not leave those blankets. I mean, you didn't know why you were taking those blankets. You didn't know who they were for. You just were obedient to, God, speaking to you. And look at what that did for her.
And it just blows you away just being a part of that.
Yeah, it does. Just knowing that God has worked into you.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's when we went over. We said, here, we don't know what you want us to do. We have no agenda. We're your
Yes.
hands and feet. Lead us where you need us to go.
Yes. Yes. That's amazing. So it sounds that your first part of your mission is just really doing God's work.
That's all what
That's
it's
the
about.
entire mission. That's
everything
the
you
entire
need.
mission.
That is awesome. That is
And,
amazing.
Yeah, bringing the hope of the Lord, because sometimes they are in conditions that we would, just can't even
Yeah.
imagine
Exactly.
living day in. And to see God working in their life
Yes.
and giving them hope through us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, speaking of that, actually, Kim, and I've even shared with you, even when I met you for the first time, just your spirit gave me hope. Your smile, it shines. It's like God's love shines through you. It radiates through you. And it's like it's contagious. And, and I don't know how many times I would tell you, just smile. Don't, your smile just warms my heart. And it's just amazing, you know, when God is just using us and in us, and how his light just shines through us, and how you never know when someone needs that, you know, just your smile, just the love that you
that's
have.
all.
Speaking of that, there's this girl that we worked with, and she actually got a boy to smile. This boy was so sad, he would not smile. He would barely talk. And then after just some loving words and some smiles from her for that week, he got him to smile. He hasn't stopped smiling.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, she worked hard. I mean, it was not easy, but
She's had the joy of the Lord.
Yes, that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps you going back, because you know that you're making a difference, and this is something that matters.
Yes, yes, and you impact so many, just spreading God's love. You know, now you've been on other mission trips, Kim. You've been to Ethiopia, but how was your mission trip in Jamaica different from your mission trip in Ethiopia?
Well, the focus on God's the same, but that Jamaican mission trip was more on building shelters for those that just did not have any type of housing at all.
Wow.
And there's a waiting list. There was a different process for
Yes.
who got these houses. But the people we built this house for, you got to minister so much just for them. And they see God working in their life and God giving them this house. And then now this chance, you know, to raise their family. I mean, it wasn't just one person, it was families that we were building this for. We built 2 houses in a week.
1 week. That is amazing. Was there a big team of people helping?
Yeah, I think there's about 50 of us that went.
That's amazing. And so you build an entire house.
Yeah. And at that had an age limit, so that was 13. You had to at least be 13 because of just the lifting and the building and the dangers.
That is amazing. So now when you went to Jamaica, and I know that we spoke all about Ethiopia, but when you went there, like eating, what did you eat when you were in Jamaica?
Oh, they cooked some good jerk chicken. Yeah, we did not go lacking in Jamaica. They know how to feed you there.
Yes. So did you get curry and a lot of the Jamaican dishes?
Absolutely. It was
that's
amazing.
awesome.
And they had part of, you know, going over, the missionaries are employing cooks, you know, cleaners for the mission work,
Yes.
the builders to help us build. I mean, we were not experts, so we had Jamaicans helping us there. So it does employ a lot of local people as well.
Oh, that's good.
As you're going over there.
Yes.
So yeah, so the local cooks, I mean, they treated us very well.
Oh, wow.
That sounds yummy.
So now, back to Ethiopia, though. When you go back to Ethiopia, you mentioned you're going back to the place that you originally have been. So you'll be able to see some of the orphans that you've established relationships with?
Yeah, and also
Awesome.
the caregivers as well, because they're the ones that are there day in and day out, and to really focus on their needs and what could help them throughout the year, not just the week that we're there.
Exactly. Like when we were there, we were at this baby orphanage, and this nun just fell right asleep when we were there.
So she fell asleep?
Yeah, she just fell right asleep.
Yeah, we said, I'll take that baby from you. You can have a break. And she sat down, and
Yes.
Boom, she's out.
we were like, is she dead? I mean,
We don't know.
She was out cold. And I was like, okay, she really needed a break. So you can see how these caregivers, any kind of break that they can get is appreciated.
It's awesome.
Yes, because because a place like Ethiopia with over 5 million orphans, I can only imagine the number of caregivers there versus the number of orphans.
Yes.
That it's just a need, a huge need. Wow. So now in the orphanages, are they like? I know that your mission is, you know, of course, you're called by Jesus to do this, but do you feel the love of Jesus there? Do you, like when you go in, how are the orphanages? If you can just kind of explain how they feel, how they look, how they...
I feel a lot of love there.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, since you don't have any distractions, you can really focus.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can hear Jesus telling you what to do. It's kind of
Just more clear.
there aren't the distractions at home that you
Yes.
have, you know, all the busyness that we have there. But we also saw a big difference between like a Christian-run orphanage and also one that was not.
Yes. Like
And
what
so-
were the
yeah.
differences?
I mean, just the
versus-
quality of care
Yes.
and the quality of the caregivers, and
Yes.
also just the pride they took into pouring the love into these kids.
Wow. So now at the orphanages, though, because I want to visually paint this picture, because I have never been on a mission internationally. So this is very, new for me. You're really opening up my eyes to how it is and what it's all about. When you go in the orphanages, are there just beds? Are there any TVs? Do they have access to, how are they? Do they have playgrounds for the children?
Well, there's usually an open field.
Okay.
But it's just rooms with beds in them.
Mm-hmm.
Like bunk beds, metal bunk beds with very ratty mattresses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some have TV, especially the older kids.
They have TVs.
Yeah, and like I said, they do have now a computer with Wi-Fi,
Yes.
so they can have their turn.
Yes. Okay. Well, and do they eat there, like inside the orphanage? They provide the meals for them, and
And they know the cooks, and they have specific cooks that have really taken on, I don't know, a motherly role, but definitely.
and
That's
then
awesome.
now, and education-wise, do they teach them there in the orphanages, or do they go out for school?
They
or
go to public school.
They do,
Okay.
yeah.
They go to public school, and they wear uniforms. That's what the money, if they are sponsored, they
Yes.
get their uniforms, and they can go. Many of them are behind in grades.
Yes.
You could find a 15-year-old still in 3rd grade
Yeah,
or
that's
first
very
grade.
common. Whereas it wouldn't be common here.
Yeah.
But yes, so you don't know. 16-year-olds can be with 10-year-olds.
Wow, that's awesome.
awesome.
Well, I want to thank
Thank
Kim, you and
you.
Ashley for coming
was
to the
fun.
castle today.
Castle's
That's
amazing.
Well, you have to come back. You are
Oh, we
welcome
have
to
to
come
visit.
back to the castle anytime you like. I just thank you for coming on today and just sharing all about mission work. I've learned so much, and all that you do, and just the love of Jesus that you take and the hope that you provide. I just thank you. And I want to just end in a little prayer, if I can. I always like to say a prayer here on the show, because this is my mission, and this is what God blessed me with, to be able to use me as a vessel, to be able to just share his love and to share what great people like you are doing around the world. So God, I just thank you for just allowing me to have this opportunity to have this show. Thank you for sending great people on the show that's doing great things around the world, God. I ask that you just bless those children that are in Ethiopia and in Jamaica, that are all in the orphanages, God. Bless them, and bless Kim and Ashley as they continue to do great work around this world, making a difference in the lives of others, God, and continue to bless the Queen Amani show, Lord. And we thank you today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And
Amen.
come on back to the Queen Amani show. We have a great show coming next time. Anyhow, have a blessed week, and we'll see you.